What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. video. So this was a really cool episode, and I have to say the biggest star of this episode was Adrian Passadar as Graviton. He has consistently been amazing in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. over the last few seasons, but as Graviton, he is absolutely amazing. His portrayal of Graviton, of his descent into becoming Graviton, and actually portraying this supervillain or a sort of hero, but he is a villain kind of. At least he is in the comics. It's been amazing. He really has been a standout part of this show, especially this episode, and him asking people to kneel before him, which was pretty awesome. So if you're new to the channel, please do consider leaving a like and a subscribe down below. And one thing I want to get out of the way, is the crossover. Well, crossover. So last week we did have the Candyman mention that there's some strange goings on in New York, and this time we get another mention. So the big threat that the Confederacy was talking about, and what has been mentioned over the course of the season, the threat coming to Earth, why Hale made this deal and why Hydra made this deal with the Confederacy, was simply because they knew that Thanos would come to Earth. So they knew that Thanos was a threat, and now they mention this episode that Thanos, by name, has arrived on Earth. So it's really big that they have actually mentioned that name. They haven't really mentioned a lot of stuff recently, and I'm really glad that they have actually explicitly mentioned this. Just think of Season 1 when we had the whole thing going on with Hydra, with Winter Soldier when that came out, how much that changed the show. And really, Thanos has been the villain of this season when you think about it, from the actual start. So that's really cool there. But it turns out that the Confederacy, they weren't going to hold up their bargain. They are not honourable people, apart from Cassius, Cassius' dad. But it was the sheer fact that they wanted to get all of the resources off of Earth before Thanos arrived. So Thanos, obviously in Infinity War, there will be Infinity War spoilers in this, he has destroyed the rest, or he's killed half of people on Earth. So I think maybe this episode, or the next episode, or the episode after will be the end. So this is at the moment running concurrently with Infinity War, and we actually have that looming threat. That fight is going on, and I think that while this is going on, we will actually have half of these characters disappear. So I think that they will disappear, but by the time Avengers 4 rolls around, they'll come back, and they'll kind of work that out, how that's going on. Will Doctor Strange lead them back from Soul World, which the Russo brothers have confirmed that Gamora is actually in Soul, or Thanos is in Soul World at the end of the movie when he sees Gamora, and then he comes back to he goes to his farm, but Gamora is in Soul World just like the comics. So the plan for Graviton is to grab all of the Gravitonium on Earth to really superpower him, which, to be honest, I don't think that's a good idea considering how unstable Talbot is at the moment. But Cassius, or the father of Cassius, he wants all of these resources. He wants all this Gravitonium. He wants all of the things they can get out of Earth before they are inevitably attacked or destroyed by Thanos. Although we know the Earth isn't destroyed, it's just a lot of people end up dead. However, I think that we will see him go mad eventually from all of this Gravitonium, and this will be the time loop. Now, the time loop, what is actually going on? Will we see Graviton destroy the world? And this is now, we're still on the loop. This is the loop where we are. And now, if you'll remember, we did actually have Cassius early in the season. He mentioned that he's going to give his father the world which he couldn't have. So really, in this time loop, Cassius actually fails, or Cassius' father, the old Kree, I'm going to say the old Kree from now on, he actually fails getting Earth. I may be wrong, let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, I'm sure you always do. So I'm not sure if he will actually fail with this, but he does have a disciple. He has taken Daisy, and he wants to use her as well. So maybe the Earth is actually destroyed between a fight between Graviton and Daisy, or it's maybe destroyed as the old Kree wants to actually get all of the Gravitonium, and maybe as it's taken from the Earth by Daisy and Graviton, well, that will be how the Earth is actually destroyed and becomes incredibly unstable, just like it was in the earlier part of the season in the future timeline. So Kasai's father and Daisy together, he wants to use her. I expect that he just wants to use her and sell her on, or use her to cement his kind of place within the Confederacy and everything like that. It's weird that we don't really see much other real kind of, maybe a Skrull. I thought maybe we would have seen a Skrull at some point in this Confederacy. Maybe after the Kree-Skrull War they actually end up at peace. But I thought that that's probably what we would see, but we didn't. Now, I really did like the fact that Talbot used all of his powers to try and actually assert his power and assert Earth's power in this Confederacy, and it's really nice to see a human character who is so overpowered actually fighting these evil Confederacy people who wanted to use us. But Kasai is using us, and the time loop is still going on. The Kree being involved here means that it is actually still going on. So the time loop is still on its way, and hopefully it doesn't succeed, because we don't really actually want this dark future that we're headed for. But I do think that we will see a fight between Graviton and Daisy at some point, and this will be where the Earth actually gets destroyed. And Coulson as well will he die? That's the question as well. He has this prophecy that he needs to not die, or he needs to not be saved for the time loop to change and Earth not to actually be destroyed. So as Graviton goes on and he's tricked by all of these people on the spaceship and the Confederacy, well, I think that his mind will actually be poisoned against S.H.I.E.L.D., and then we will see him fully turn into the villain that he is, and Daisy will have to take him down, which will mean that Graviton and the powers will just get exponentially bigger, and that will lead to a huge kind of event. But it can't lead to that point, which I do think that Agent Coulson, I think that at some point he will actually sacrifice himself. He will actually destroy Graviton and the Kree to save all of Earth. So I think that's where they're going to go with this. I think that would be an interesting and a great cap to the end of this. And then, or possibly he may just disappear. Maybe just as he's about to die, he will kind of go off, and just like they did at the end of Infinity War, and then that's how he will survive and come back. But remember, he is going to be in the Captain Marvel movie, so if he knows about the Kree, what's going on here? Because he should know more about the Kree. He hasn't mentioned anything about knowing the Kree whatsoever, but he is in the Captain Marvel movie. So I think that is a bit of a disconnect between the movies and the films there. And it's kind of odd that if he has been involved with Captain Marvel and she was created in a Kree kind of experiment and things like that, well, why wasn't any of that actually mentioned at any point? So hopefully next episode we mention or see another crossover where he says that I knew about this all before. But I don't know. It's just a weird one. I think that's one we're just going to have to park for now, and then have to worry about later when Captain Marvel comes out, if we get another season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I really hope we do, because it's one of the best comic book shows on TV at the moment. I think this and Gotham are the only two I really, really enjoy at the moment. But I do watch the rest. It's just they're just not what they were whatsoever. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. continuing to be great, and I hope to see more Graviton action next episode. However, that is it for this video. Please drop a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.